there are 5 things that if I'm building out a team, I'm looking for. There are 5 things if I'm a job seeker that I'm going to be ready to discuss in any interview. The first one is passion. Now, let's not get hung up with passion, the name. It's where are your interests? What makes you glow? And if you get asked, tell me about a project you were passionate about, tell me about something that gets you out of bed in the morning, any of those types of questions are really ultimately getting at, do you have passion? Are you passionate about something? And then what the employer is ultimately looking for is, are you passionate about what it is they do? So as an example, I just mentioned the thing about Stacy. Well, Stacy's background might not have been exactly aligned to the influencer space and developing and helping from a content strategy development perspective, but her passion lied in helping people and serving and all that good stuff is very much in alignment with what we at the Mile Walk Academy do. So there is alignment there. So it doesn't need to be, dot for dot. But the foundational thing that you are passionate about, you want to make sure that if you are thrown this question or you are asked what drives you, what motivates you, any of those questions, you can package up the response that says, this is what really motivates me. This is what gives me energy. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love to do. Pick any of those. That's what this one is about. And what you choose should be in alignment with what the company does. It doesn't have to be exactly to the role, but it should be in alignment with how the company services the world. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing is, anybody, no matter who they hire, they need problem solvers. So you need to be ready for the question around, how did you organize it? How did you solve the problem? Problem solving abilities. And a lot of this has to do with approach to problem solving. So when you answer that question, you want to make sure that you are going from the big picture. What was the problem? Why did the problem exist? So we had this issue. We were underperforming in this area, whatever it is. So I took a look at it. Here's what I noticed. I noticed big picture idea, right? Or big picture thinking or big picture observation. And then I put a plan together and I went about it this way. Step 1, step 2, step 3, going back to all the storytelling methodology that I gave you in module 4, but you want to make sure that you've got the logic down and the sequence down, and it starts big picture with why this was a problem to begin with and what it is that you did in order to solve it. So it's, why was it a problem? Here's what the blueprint looked like, and here are the steps I took. Here was the outcome, kind of thing. All right. The third one is value. We're going to talk a bit more about this a little later, but where did you add the greatest value? You've got to be ready for this one. Where did you add the greatest value? Where did you make the greatest impact? That's this question. All right. Because we all, in one way or another, have to contribute to the health of the company. And it doesn't mean we have to generate revenue or save money. There are many different ways in which we can add a lot of value. What are they? I gave them to you in module 2. See this card? See this card? I want to refresh your, yellow and yellow. See, I'm going to refresh your memory on the 8 greatest ways that you can add value. So for whoever you are, for whatever you do, if you generate money, or in some way influence generating money, if you make your company's brand, if it's more marketable, more noticeable, more noticed, more well-known, any of those things are good. By the way, I go through in detail about examples of each of these in module 2 in the main session. Is there any way that you attract customers in any way? Lure them. If you create a white paper that allows people to download it on the internet, that's attracting customers, right? If you cold call out and do outreach, that attracts customers. Any of those are cool. Making customers happy, helping your company grow or position to grow, so very executive level stuff. Keeping the employees happy, reducing any kind of costs, or in any way, shape, or form, making processes more efficient. You can choose from any of those Figure out the one or two that show your greatest value. And actually a little later in the talk, I'm gonna package this up a little bit for you, but these are the 8 you want to choose from. And don't worry that you can't read the card. It's in module 2. And I talk about it in a manner of what to be putting on your resume. But when you get into answering the question about the value you can bring in an interview, this is where I would go for those. Okay? How did you develop somebody? Okay, so think about this. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you are 22 years old, first job, or you are 72 years old and had 20 jobs. How do you develop people? Or specifically, tell me about a time when you developed someone. Okay, so think about some way, have a story ready where you know how you developed somebody. It could be team, could be an individual, okay? Could be somebody on your staff, could be somebody on your leadership team, could be a customer, could be an internal customer, could be a teammate, could be anybody, but the best stories will be about an underperformer, okay? So the higher level you are in an organization, the greater the likelihood you're going to get asked this question in an interview. So how did you develop somebody? Lots of times you're going to get that if you're entering into a managerial role. Okay. So you want to think about what, and you're going to learn this, and I'm going to be saying this a lot over about the next, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because we're going to be talking about this event that I have coming up about the power of your personal story. No personal story was ever as interesting as when you were down in the dumps and you grew your way out of it. No story about how you developed somebody. If you say, hey, I had this team of high performers. I was teaching summer school and it was the honors program for everybody who was totally ambitious and I made them better, is not going to be nearly as good as it was summer school for all the kids who failed and I was able to help them all pass. Okay? So you want to look for why somebody was underperforming, and hopefully that wasn't your doing, but you took somebody who was underperforming, or an alternative to this is somebody who walked in on your team and didn't have the requisite skills and you needed to get them up to speed quickly. Okay? You've got to be ready with that story. Choose from, a couple of those, anything related to somebody was here and you took them here. That's what you need to do. You don't want them here, making them here, right? So you want the underperformer. And then number 5, we all, doesn't matter what your job is, doesn't matter who you work for, we all have customers, right? We all have customers in some way, shape, or form, all right? I don't care. If you're on the accounting team, your customer is the government, right? Everything's got to be in alignment. There is somebody somewhere that you serve, okay? For most of you, it's obvious. So about a time when you served a customer in great detail, right? How did you serve that customer? And again, the words are still hanging out there. Go at an unhappy customer situation. I don't care if it's an internal customer. I don't care if it's an external customer. I don't care if it's the customer that called to complain 10 times. Hopefully you had a customer that called and complained 10 times and finally got you right on the call line and you fixed everything, right? That's the story you want to tell. This is the story you want to tell. All y'all consultants out there that go out to those unhappy customers because your predecessor botched something up and you came in and you saved the day. That's what I'm talking about. So you want to go from low to high on these. All right. So just recapping them really quick. You want to make sure you got the passion. Got the passion story. What do you be ready for that one? The problem story, right? You want to be ready for that one. The value story. We're going to talk a little bit more about this here in a few minutes. How you developed somebody, okay, and how you served somebody. Customer, okay? How you serve somebody. So keep that in mind. Those 5, they go a long way. You can probably do any interview. You can probably do any interview and any interview question with those 5. Okay. So everything that, everything that we do in our lives always seems to start from a base of something What I just gave you is my foundational base for your stories that you need to tell. And if you're ready with those 5, you'll do great. You'll do great. Now, I want to give you a bonus, or 1 or 2. Another great one to have is the mistake. You know, I got one of those daily lines. My today's lines to live by is the difference between good and great is what you did with your mistake. Okay. So tell me about a time when you made a mistake. When you made a mistake. All right. So I want to give you some philosophy on this one. So I like to think there are maybe 5 or so components to any time you want to talk about a mistake. The best mistake to make is not in something that you do day in and day out. Okay. So you don't want to say, well, there was this time, you know, when I was doing this thing for the 1,000th time and I screwed it up. Bad story. Bad story. There was this time when I was here and I'm always pushing to go to here. It's the next level stuff. Okay. So it's the next level. So I took this step forward. I tried this new thing. I was on the front of the boat and I kept getting water in my eye because I was out there leading the charge. Okay. That kind of stuff. And I tried it and I took the bumps, which I gladly embrace. Okay. I got the bumps all over my body and I wear the badge proud. I wear the badges proud, right? Because I took the lumps because I'm always trying new things. So I went out, I tried this, whatever it was. And then philosophically, I embrace it because that's what it takes, right? Everybody knows this. Mistakes are not awful. It's well, you don't want to make the bad mistakes and things that you should be doing routinely over and over again. But you want to make sure you're talking about something that's next level, how you went out and tried it, you embrace it. You want to talk about what you learned. And as I did this, I discovered, so I took this lesson and I fixed it, channeled it, redid it, version 2, however you want to articulate it. And then and I am constantly repeating that process as a worker, as a whatever. I'm constant as a salesperson. I'm constantly evaluating the way that I sell and these techniques. So I altered this. We tried something new. We tried different. We tried different things in new markets. We made this mistake, but what it told us was, and here's what we did. So you always want to be talking about next level stuff. I don't know if you read my little card there, but next level stuff. And the other thing is, I don't know if some of you might have caught this. I've actually got a video out there, a short video on failure. Okay, so about the, what was your biggest failure? And it's the same kind of thing with the mistake is that, hey, I own it. Here's what I learned. Here's what I did to recover it. And you want to share your philosophy with how you think about making mistakes, failing, so to speak. So grab those. I think those are also important to have on your list of, ready to go stories. If you haven't seen the video, I think the title is, how to answer what's your biggest failure or something like that. If you check my YouTube channel out, there's a 3, 4, 5 minute video out there on that one.